Hi everybody, welcome to the second workout of the day. Welcome to our midday live workout. My name's Gleed. I'm here from Matrix Fitness just to keep your activity levels up, just to give you a few exercises that you can follow, just to give yourself a little bit of a challenging workout if you want it, or just to keep yourself moving a little bit as well. We'll be starting in about a minute's time, so just loosen yourself up. Nearby I've got some water and I've got a mat just behind me. So if you've got those available as well, that'd be great. If not, you can do it all on the floor. Obviously, carpet will be a little bit more comfortable. We have got some exercises where you're going to be down on the floor and moving around a little bit. So create a little bit of distance if you can. Push the sofa back and move the tables and chairs out of the way if you need to. Just get yourselves ready for the workout that's going to be coming up. We're going to be starting in about another 30 seconds or so. So just keep yourself nice and loose to begin with. Just start to mobilize through your body. We'll take you for a warm up. If you want to get ahead of the game and just start moving a little bit now. If you want to start exercising now, whether that be a few light squats, just keep yourself nice and free. Maybe just do a little bit of dynamic stretching as well, just to prepare your body for what's going to be coming up. Okay, so it's hitting 12 o'clock, so we're going to make a start from here. I hope you're ready for today's lunchtime workout. First of all, let me explain the workout to you. What we've got is 3 rounds. I quite like the format of doing this. 3 rounds, generally, it pretty much helps you guys understand what's going to be coming up. The 3 rounds will be 45 seconds of work and then 15 seconds recovery. So I want you to work hard, but then you earn and deserve the recovery as well. But what we are doing differently today is the transitions between the rounds are a little bit quicker. So we're not going to give you a nice 30 seconds to relax. I'm going to get you working straight away. If you need to take a breather, that's absolutely fine. I want you to work to your intensity. Round 1 is going to be our dynamic mobility and a little bit of strength work. And then round 2 will be our core exercises. So we'll be down on the floor for those ones predominantly the whole time. Then what we're going to do is we'll do a cardio round at the end. So that's when we're going to push your heart rates up and hopefully looking at trying to challenge your fitness a little bit more. We do have some jumping exercises in. If at any time you would like to regress those exercises where you're not taking them into high impact options, then that's absolutely fine as well. So, as I said before, my name's Matt. Welcome to the Matrix Fitness workout, and let's get you moving. What I want you to begin with is just march onto the spot for me. Just starting to increase the range of movement in your hips and your knees. So just bringing your knee up a little bit higher. Let the arms start to work, so just getting the elbows, and if you want to get the shoulders starting to mobilize as well. Option of adding in a little bit of a push off. So during this march, you're going to push off the tip of your toes, and then this will just help activate some of the more muscles, ready for the workout that we've got coming up to you as well. The weather's not been too warm lately, so hopefully you are getting outside and wrapped up warm. But if this is going to be your workout for today, then welcome, and I hope you enjoy it as well. Okay, what I want you to do now is just take your arms wide across your body. So think about a giant square. I want you to go diagonally across this big square. If you wanted to add in a little step into this as well, what this starts to do is it starts to just stretch through some of the abdominal muscles and also through your hip flexor, and a little bit more of the front part of the bodies, just so you can create almost like a chain of movement here. Good. Okay, now what we're going to do is just take yourself into a half squat. So just because we're looking at range of movement to begin with, it's not looking at depth. I'm just looking at your hips lowering down towards your heels and just starting to get a little bit of a bend in the ankles, the knees, and the hips as well. So just a little half squat. Good. We do have some alternating lunges and squats in the first round of exercises. So we're just important that we get all of these muscles warmed up. So let's do that as well. Let's take a little reverse lunge backwards. And you can go with as deep as you want to at this point as well. So if you're just going to take a little bit of a step back, that's absolutely fine. Think about just leaning backwards if you're going to take a step. If you're going to be going into the lunge, what you'll start to find is you get a nice stretch with that front of the hip anyway. So that's absolutely fine. I'm going to start to rotate through my arms. The benefit of doing this is it just helps keep a little bit of balance in your body as well. Good. Now, as we're doing these exercises, it's all about preparing the body for the workout that we've got coming up. One of the other things that we're going to be doing is down onto the floor. So I want to mobilize for the shoulders a little bit more. So just take into a little bit of a jumping jack. Let's get the heart rates up a little bit more. As we stretch through the hips a little bit, let's get the shoulders activated and get your heart rates up. We'll do about another 2.5 minutes before we start the first round of workout. Now, in case you haven't done one of our workouts so far, through the 3 rounds, every single round will be done twice, okay? So round 1, dynamic mobility and strength, we do it twice, then we move on to core work, we do that twice, and then we do our cardio round where we push you a little bit more as well. So loads of exercises that will just challenge you a little bit more. Now check this one out, we're going to stand sideways on, jab, cross, jab, jump, jab, cross, jab. Good. So think about throwing your arms forwards, and again, it's a bit of a dynamic warm-up, but at the same time, it just starts to prepare the muscles ready for the work that we've got coming up. And the nice thing about this one, swapping over your feet just gets a little bit of agility and get your nerves turned on so that we can help get some stability when we're doing some of our exercises as well. Okay, check this one out. Big side step, squat. Big side step, squat. Looking to get a little bit of movement. Could you start to take that squat a little bit lower now? So we start to stretch through the thigh and then down into that squat position. Okay, good. Now think about when you're doing these movements, prepare your body for what's about to come. We do have some intense exercises. I will try and give you as many options as I can. Obviously, you're going to have to follow and make the modifications as well. So at any time, if you feel like the exercise that we're doing is a little bit too strenuous, that's absolutely fine. Just ease it off a little bit. But at the same time, if you feel like you want to take the harder option and really push yourself, that's absolutely fine as well. Every exercise that we do, as I say, we'll do it twice. So if you want to, the first time you can always learn what it is you're going to be doing, and then we can go from there as well. Okay, so what we're going to do this time, just get your body warmed up a little bit more. I want you to hinge from your hips, reach down across your foot, and then bring yourself back up again. So I'm just starting to get your hamstrings to stretch a little bit. Now, if you've already got good flexibility in your hamstrings, that's absolutely fine. Just start to get the mobility into the joint. And if you are a mobile and a flexible person, then as you come up, squeeze through your glutes so you get used to what it feels like to be really strong and engaged around the joints as well. Good. Okay, check it out. First exercise is an alternating lunge to squat. Here's what it's going to look like. It's going to be a lunge, lunge, and then we go into a squat, okay? Let's go for this. So lunge, 45 seconds of, and then we go into that squat, okay? 45 seconds of this. Lunge, lunge, and then that squat. Now, as we say, the first round that we do is about you learning the exercises, and then the second round that we do, you'll be able to start to push yourself a little bit more as well. Okay, so just find how that body feels today. You can take it steadily to begin with. If you would like the option for these last 15 seconds, then take that squat and take it up to a jump, and then join back in. You don't have to keep time with me. This is not an exercise to music class. It's just literally you taking yourself through body weight movements just to keep yourself active or fit if you can. Okay, 15 seconds recovery. The next exercise is called a frog. Check this one out. You're going to place your hands down into this deep position. And the reason we call it a frog is because like a frog sits here. Now what you're going to do is you're going to jump your feet out and then jump them back in. Okay, 45 seconds. Let's go. I'll try and turn sideways so you can see. Jump out, jump in, and get your back nice and straight here. Jump out. As you jump in, look up slightly. That will just help keep the spine nice and straight. Jump out and jump in. Nice tall position. The distance from your tailbone, so the very back of the lower part of your back, to the top of your head, that's the straight line that we're looking for. So try and keep yourself into that straight line. Last 15 seconds, try and increase the speed if you can. Good work. Good. Keep loading through the shoulders. Keep the weight into your hands. Last one. Good, 15 seconds. Now we're going to stay onto the floor. Our next exercise is going to be called a kick sit. We're going to take both hands down. And you're going to look at an imaginary line between your fingertips. I want you to twist your body sideways and sit down. Then bring yourself back up, and we alternate to the other side, okay? I'll go sideways so you can see a little bit. From this position, I want you to kick your foot through, come back to the center, and then kick it over to the opposite side. Now, if you find that it's hard for you to keep your hands down on the floor, you can bring one hand up, But what that starts to do is it starts to take away a little bit of that coiled tension that your body's working with. So by doing this, you actually do make the exercise a little bit easier. So if you can, keep the hands down and sit all the way around. So you do put in a twist into the spine, but you also really start to keep the muscles in the legs engaged as well. See if you can keep your weight into your hands the whole time. Let's sit nice and tall. Your whole goal is to sit sideways as close to your hands as possible. Okay, that's round 1 done. Let's repeat it, and your options are taking the progressions, or you can stay in the same intensity as you've just done as well. Last 5 seconds, first exercise, alternating lunges with the squat. Let's go. Lunge, lunge, squat, and option of that jump, okay? So you've got the option if you want it. If it's your choice of workout, you can pick up the intensity if you want to by taking that squat and adding a jump before then you go back to that lunge positions, okay? So you pick the intensity, lunge, lunge, then the squat. Keep this going. Use your arms to help keep a little bit of balance. Quite often it's really good to always keep looking at one point in front of you. The benefit of doing that just allows you to hold a bit of stability, especially as you're taking that foot backwards. Some people lose a little bit of balance. Last 5 seconds, let's have to jump into this one. Last one, squat and jump. Good, 15 seconds breather. Frogs are coming up next. Hands go down onto the floor. Getting them in close, so you can keep your feet flat onto the floor. We're going to jump back into a press-up position. And then jump your feet back in towards you into that frog position. 45 seconds, let's go. So as this is the second time that we've done these exercises, start to increase your intensity if you can. Try and challenge yourself with not only the range of movement, but also keeping your weight through your hands and getting your knees right outside of your elbows. So if your jump is looking small, that's not what we want. We want to get right in there so you're looking up and forwards as well. 15 seconds of work to go. Keep looking up. Keep the weight into the hands. Good positioning. Keep it strong. Let's do one more. Good, okay. Kick sits coming up next. Hands down on the floor, and we're going to kick the legs out from side to side. Again, keep your hands down for the option of progression. Lift the hand up if you need to. Our starter's coming towards you. Hands down on the floor. Sit down sideways to your legs. One leg is close to your bum cheek, okay? Think about that. And then swap them over to the opposite side. Let's go. Again, keep your head looking up and straight. As you sit close to your hands, think about your positioning. Get close to your hands, and the back foot is going to be close to your bum. The secret on this one is pivoting on the ball of the foot. So as you can see, my foot pivots here as I kick through, and then when I sit down, all about that pivot mechanics here. If you play any team sports, you'll know about pivoting. It happens naturally for most of us. It also helps you avoid knee injuries and lower back problems as well. Okay, that's all 3 exercises. Round 1, done. Coming up next, grab your mat. Or if you haven't got a mat nearby you, that's absolutely fine. Get yourself down on the floor. I want you on your back, and we're going straight into this. It's called a crucifix crunch. Start seated with your hands next to your knees. Extend your arms out wide. Bring yourself back in again, okay? Every single time you come up, look up towards the ceiling, so then your chin and chest stays straight. The benefit of doing that, it keeps the chin away from the chest, and that means that you're going to keep better alignment in your spine as well. If you need a little breather, rest your feet onto the floor, and then you can go lie yourself back down and come back in again. Feet being off the floor just requires a little bit more core stability, and it will just challenge your stability and engage a few more muscles for you as well. Last 5 seconds. Okay, now onto a side plank position. Elbow underneath the shoulder, feet stacked upon each other. I want you to lift up into a side plank and then reach your arm up high. Okay? Now the goal here is to lift your hips and overreach. Okay? So think about as much bend as you can in the sides. Remember, your hips are going upwards, pushing, rather than your hips sagging back down. Okay? So try and keep height here. Reach up high. By doing this, you start to stretch through the muscles down the side, So then they start to challenge the obliques a little bit more. If at any time you need to take a breather, you can always rest. If you're going to do that, I always encourage you to count to 3, and then you go again, okay? So you get a little breather if you really need to, but it's very much a controlled breather. You know exactly when you're going to start going again. Up into that side plank, hold strong. We've only got 10 seconds to go. Push that reach if you can. Pushing the hips high. Last 3 seconds. 2, 1. Okay, now lie on your backs for me. A walking glute bridge. Place your feet flat onto the floor. Rest your back down and make sure that your head is rested on the floor as well. The hands come down by your sides. Lift your bum up for me and extend the hips fully. From here, walk your heels out and back in. Now, as you're walking the heels out, you're going to feel your hamstrings and your glute muscles start to activate. This is a really good exercise for the lower back. It's very safe because you're going to be keeping your back straight because you're pushing your hips upwards. Once you've got that full hip extension, you can squeeze your bum cheeks to hold that height and try and keep it going. Now just keep the legs moving. If you can be on your heels, that would be great. Be mindful that if you're on a laminated floor, whether it be wood or plastic, and you're wearing socks, you might find yourself starting to slip. Or if your heart rate's up a little bit and your feet are getting a little clammy, that's when you might slip as well. So make sure that you've got some control around this. Okay, sit yourself back up. Crucifix crunch again. Okay, that's all 3 exercises. Now we do them all again. The side plank will be on the opposite side. Sit up nice and tall with your chin and chest. Feet lifted off the floor if you can. Let's open out the arms into a crucifix position. Bring yourself back up to the center and then extend back down again. This crucifix crunch is a really good exercise for working on a lot of the higher abdominal muscles, but you also start to work the hip flexors quite a bit, and obviously they're attached to your lower abdominals as well. So really good exercise for working through the stomach, especially if you're spending a lot of screen time at the moment. Probably sat in a flex position to work into these muscles. It is important, and make sure you give them a good stretch at the end as well. 15 seconds to go. You've got the progression of pausing slightly and then bring yourself back up. So that little pause in that extended position is great. And if you can keep the shoulder blades off the floor, that's when it gets a little bit more challenging before you bring yourself back up. Let's side plank over to the opposite side, so turn sideways. Feet stacked upon each other. Up into our side plank, and we're reaching with the overhead arm, okay? So feet stacked and strong. Lift your hips up, and then reach your arm as you lift your hips a little bit taller. Think about stretching and working for all of these oblique muscles here. So reach upwards, not necessarily over where you start to rotate. Lift your hips and reach the arm. Be mindful that you're always going to be holding that strong plank. So if at any time you need to have a little rest because of your shoulder or just because of the intensity, rest for 3, 2, 1, and then we go back up again. And you can do that every single repetition if you really need to. I'd rather you do that than show me a really poor plank where you're not working hard. So think about pushing the hips up, reaching with the arms. You've got just over 5 seconds to go. Hang in there. As much work as you can do, and relax there. Let's go to the glute bridges again. So this time, laying down to your back, lift up through your hips, and be on your heels. Now, last time we did 2 walks. It was out, out, in. This time, we're going to try and take a little bit further distance as well. Keep the hips pressed up, head rested down, out, out, and again, out, out, and then bring it in. Oh, it's like the comedian, isn't it? Are you out, or are you out, out? You've got to keep working, whichever way it's going to do. Or was it Mickey Flanagan, wasn't it? He's either out, or is he out, out? Walk your heels as far as you feel as if they can, but keep those hips pressed up the whole time. That's the challenge. It's not about how many steps you take, it's whether your hips are pressed up towards the ceiling that really challenges the exercise here. So just keep those feet moving. Keep the hips pressed up, that's the focus. It's a strong exercise, working a lot of hamstrings, the glutes, and the lower back. Okay, rest there. Okay, that's the second round done. Let's get you ready for round 3. Round 3 is all about cardio. This is where we're going to push your heart rates up a little bit more. Check out the first movement. Broad jump to a burpee. So, large jump, now a burpee down onto the floor, and as you jump back up, spin. Okay, then we do that long jump again. Okay, so big long jump. Do the burpee for me. Out, in, Spin as you jump up into the air, face the opposite direction. Long jump. Burpee. Spin. Let's take it over to the opposite side. Broad jump. Burpee. Spin as you rotate there. Let's go again. Use your arms to help drive that range. Strong burpee position. Turn as you come across over to the opposite side. Broad jump. Burpee. Give me that rotation. Push off the toes as you go into that. Okay, shake the legs out. We will be coming back to those. Okay, next up, we're going to keep the prisoner jump. We've done it in previous workouts, hands to the side of the head. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to do a jump, squat, and rotate over to the opposite side, okay? Let's go for this. Now, the reason we've got the hands to the side of the head is so this way you can't use any momentum. What you've got to do is you've got to use the legs to be a little bit stronger. Try and keep your elbows back. Keep your spine nice and tall. Think about as much height towards the ceiling as you can. As soon as you hit that squat, push back off again. See if you can make it one movement. So coming explosively out of that squat position. 15 seconds of work. Squat and push right round to the opposite side. Last 5 seconds. Let's see if we can get 2 more in. Last one. Oh, okay. Brilliant. Last exercise that we're going to do is a bear crawl. We will go through all these again so you can really start to progress on them. Bear crawl is hands and legs are moving. We're going to be moving to the side and then back again. Let's go onto your hands. Lift your knees off the floor. Try and keep the knees underneath your hips. And the goal here is to try and keep your spine nice and flat. Okay? And then move yourself back. So it's the same hand and leg, and then this other hand and leg. So just keep that movement going. Let me go at a bit of an angle for you so you can see this a little bit more. Out, and then back into the inside of the body. So you move to the side, back to the center. And then alternate once you travel around about 2 meters. Probably moving around about 10 inches at a time. Trying to keep the knees underneath the hips, your back flat. Keep looking down at an imaginary line in between your fingertips. That'll help keep your head position good. Okay, loosen up. Last time, broad jump burpees, then 180-degree jump prisoner squats, then we go into those bear claws. Then it's cool down, that's the easy part. Let's do this, broad jump, big jump, burpee. Give me a rotation as you go. There it is, let's jump. Long jump, the burpee, rotating mid-air. Good, excellent. Here we go, big jumps, burpee, spin in the air. Keep this rhythm going if you can. Almost at the burpee in the middle there. Desperate to get those burpees in. We hate them, but we love them in so many ways. Let's jump it up in the air as we turn. Let's travel. Broad jump, burpee, 180-degree turn. Okay, I reckon we've got time for one more. Let's get back over to the opposite side. Here we go. Big jump to finish. Okay, loosen up there. 15 seconds recovery. 180-degree prisoner jump squats. Hands to the side of the head. Turn sideways. We're going to face the opposite direction. 3, 2, squat, jump. Let's go. Keeping the hands where they were. If the elbows can stay up, you get a better workout from the legs. Just because they can't use any momentum there. Try and push yourself as much as you can. You're doing great work. Just keep this going. Last 20 seconds. After this, there's one last exercise. So do as much as you can. Push out of that squat if you can. Be strong with this. Just 10 seconds of work left to go. Last couple. One more. Shake it out. Okay, bear claws to finish. Let's head down to the floor. I'm going to move away from you to begin with. Hands and legs move at the same time, alternating each side. Let's get this ready. The last part of the workout here, then it's stretch out, okay? Let's go. Hand and legs moving at the same time. Whatever range of movement you've got, if you haven't got a lot of space in your house or wherever you're working out, Just traveling one step to the other side is absolutely fine. Okay? It could just be here and then over to the opposite side. You don't have to travel far. Just try and keep your back straight, eyes looking down towards your fingertips, and just keep your knees underneath your hips. Just keep that workout going here. Just holding in place if you need to. Travel if you want to. Last 5 seconds. And rest there. Oh, good work. Definitely feel those on my legs. Just a combination of those jumps and then holding that strong core position. Just free yourself up a little bit. Stretch out for the back a little bit. Well done, great work. Let's make sure that we stretch the muscles as well though. Just keep your legs forwards. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the floor, up dogs and down dogs. Follow me on this one. Hands go onto the floor. Think about lifting your chest up nice and high. You can tuck the toes under or you can tuck them away. Up to you, completely your choice. If you can hold yourself up so your knees aren't on the floor, that would be great. You get a stretch for the front of the hip. Now check this out, a downward dog. So if you haven't got your toes tucked under, tuck them under now. Push through your hands. Send your hips up towards the sky. And then think about walking your heels. So you get a little stretch to the calf here as well. Okay, let's drop into that up dog again. So lower the hips down, push up, hold this strong position. It can be challenging to get a nice stretch. It also allows you to get your breath to come back to you slightly. Let's go again. Push your hips up, push your heels down towards the floor, eyes looking towards the feet. Now, one foot comes up to where your hand is. Reach that hand up into the air. So you're in 3 positions on the floor. One hand, but both legs. Reach your arm up high. Think about pushing the back heel away. Check the difference out of my back leg. When you straighten it, it just stretches through the muscles a little bit more. Let's bring this hand down, swap it over to the opposite side. A little downward facing dog in the middle. Then back up. We call this a runner's stretch. I think it's one of the best stretches you can do. Works so much of the body. Releases tension. Good. Slowly bring yourself back down to the center. Well done. Okay. From here, what we're going to do is just take a glute stretch. We've done a lot of work, so we can do this seated. Think about crossing your feet. So it's one leg comes across horizontal to the body. So think about where your shoulders are facing. That's where your knee and your ankle are facing. Now, check this out. Support myself with my hands. Bring my knee in towards me. And I can get a nice deep stretch for the glutes as well. After the jumping work that you've done, they're going to start to feel tight, especially towards the end of the week if you've been joining in on a few of these. Okay. Let's lengthen that leg out and swap it over to the opposite side. Think about leaning your chest towards that knee as well. You feel that stretch coming in through the glutes a little bit further. Okay. Now slowly take yourself out of that position. Bring yourself up to a standing position. What we do is take your legs out nice and wide. Now, because we've been jumping and traveling as well, we're going to turn one foot over towards the side, lean over. So now you're going to get a stretch through the inner thighs. If you want to, just drop your elbow on towards your knees, reach your arm up. That also helps stretch out the muscles that have been working for your back and your shoulders. Drop down a little bit lower if you feel comfortable, so your weight is rested in between both legs, but your front leg is definitely going to be holding a little bit more of the weight, just because you've loaded it. Now let's swap that over to the opposite side. Same thing again. Reach across, get a nice stretch through your thighs. Reach your arm up high, reach across your body. Good. Get down nice and deep, nice long, tall stretch. Okay, bring yourself back to the center. Shake your legs out, just give me a little chest stretch. Bring your hands behind you, bring them close together, lift the chin and chest up tall. Nice deep stretch here. Take some nice deep breaths in through your nose as you inhale and exhale out through your mouth. Brilliant. Just loosen up your body. My name's Matt Gleed. Thanks for joining me for the Matrix Fitness workout at lunchtime here. If you have been tuning in to look at the exercises, we'll see you again at 5 o'clock this evening. If not, have a great rest of the day, and we'll hopefully see you next week as well. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:45 in the morning, 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.